We're going to get this thing going on, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting till everybody get themselves situated. I know a lot is going on in the world. I see that I'm being choppy here. Let me see if I can clean this up some. Give me 1 second. Let's see. There we go. Might want to change that. Give me a second. How's everyone doing out there? Hopefully everyone is doing well. We're going to have a discussion today, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we are. There's so many things going on in the world today. So lately I've been just kind of keeping my eye on the news. We understand how things are going, but we're going to get warmed up here. Everybody is busy on the go, but we're going to talk about a couple of things. And please excuse my video. We've been having issues in our area with Wi-Fi. So unfortunately, the Wi-Fi has not been so good. But with that being said, we're going to have this video anyway. And even though I do audio sometimes, I love to see the people, or rather, I love the people to see me. That way you know it's a real person. But we're going to get into the discussion today. Please comment as you see fit on some of the topics we'll be covering here today, ladies and gentlemen. I think one of the first things that I really want to go over, I talked about this on my last broadcast when I was kind of covering the news, is Florida State. There's a lot of things going on in Florida. Whether it be with the governor, with the LGBT community, or even with Disney World. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Disney World and what's going on with them, because Disney World is like their own entire city. Imagine if Disney had to go through its local planning and zoning boards to create a new council, or if it suddenly had to rely on Orange County, Florida, and other sort of local jurisdiction to pick up its own trash, or if it could no longer sell its own bonds to build roads in its parks. That's where a lot of legislators, councilmen in Florida are actually talking about. So according to NBC News, it says that on March 30th, Spencer Roach, a member of Florida's House of Representatives who represents State House District 79, tweeted that he and other legislators were continuing to discuss repealing a special legislative act that created the Reedy Creek Improvement District. It's the unique zone believed to be among the only example of its kind in the United States of America, in which Disney's largest theme park and resort operates in the Sunshine State. So what that basically is telling you, ladies and gentlemen, is that Disney World is its own city with its own zone. It can do whatever it wants when it wants. It's kind of like living in HOA, where Disney doesn't have to go to the state of Florida. Disney doesn't have to go to the city of Orange County. It has its own zoning that is part of a special legislation. And I'm pretty sure that Disney somehow pays for this. So Disney World can do exactly what it wants to do. And this made headline news. Why is this important? It reminds me of Vatican City, right? It reminds me of Vatican City, where Vatican City is its own country. It's a sovereign state within Italy. So I think a lot of these things are important that we keep our eye on how things are going. Now, one of the most triggering conversations we're going to have is this story right here, that Governor DeSantis signed the Don't Say Gay bill into law. And basically, family, what this is about is that he is not willing to allow kindergartens through third graders to be taught about the LGBT community in any form or fashion. Like, we're not talking about lesbians, bisexuals, queers, transgender, or gays. We're not talking about any of that for our kindergartens and third grade. And I agree with them, but now you have the LGBT community trying to sue The governor, they're trying to sue the state of Florida. I think they had some pictures up here where they were holding signs. Give me a second. Here we go. It says here, Disney, help teach our children kindness and inclusion. And this is all behind kindergartners and third graders. And they're out there with the LGB shirts and signs. And it says here, stand with LGBTQ families. Here's the thing. And Governor DeSantis said it the best. If you want your children to learn about the LGBT community from kindergarten through third grade, then you teach them. See, that's the problem. You don't just send your kids to school to be taught everything. There are some things that parents should teach their kids. And I agree with the governor. Like, this is murky water. When you start talking about things of gender identity, gender orientation, it's a very, very critical, touchy subject. So instead of the school systems, instead of the local districts, instead of the state of Florida getting in any trouble dealing with those grades, he said, no, we're not going to do that. If you want them to be taught those things, then you need to teach them at home so they understand from your perspective instead of our perspective. I agree with the governor. I'm not a Republican, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not an independent, I'm just a guy with a brain. And I agree that if you want your kids to be taught about the LGBTQ community, that you teach them your damn self. Kindergartners and third graders, they're absolutely impressionable. Okay, they're like sponges. And here's the thing. What if teaching them about the LGBT community you don't agree with? What if school curriculum comes out, a lot of the parents will say, okay, you're going to teach our kids about LGBTQ. Can we see the curriculum and what you're going to teach them? Then you don't agree with the curriculum. Then you don't agree with the teacher. Well, is the teacher LGBTQ? I mean, should it be transgender? Should it be a queer? Should it be a gay? Should it be a lesbian? Should it be a team of members? What should it be? See, you have all of these variables into play, and the governor's like, no, we're not doing none of it. But now they're out here protesting for the schools to teach their kids something they should be teaching their damn kids. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Because at the end of the day, shouldn't you teach your kids that here's a community that has a sexual preference? Red flag. They have a sexual choice. They have a sexual preference. And some people like to argue, well, some people were born in a particular manner that they had no choice. But there is no science, there is no evidence to support those claims. So essentially, it's a choice. So when you look at these things, I just really want you guys to bite your tongue, ball up your lips, because at the end of the day, you know that it's a choice at the end of the day. See, a lot of times can't change our brain chemistry, but here's the thing. You can put your mind and brain on a trajectory of what you want to do, either be successful, save for a house. There's a lot of things you can inherently do by your subconscious mind and bringing that into fruition into your conscious mind. Am I saying that people in the LGBT community wasn't born in the way that they think about who they should be with and who they should do certain things with? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying at the end of the day, regardless of what you think, you still have a choice. And here's the thing. If you believe that your kids should know about the LGBT community through kindergarten, through the third grade, which this bill is preventing for them to learn about it, according to the state of Florida, then guess what? You should teach your own kids. It says right here, when asked about the unique arrangement during a public appearance on Thursday, Florida Governor DeSantis indicated that Disney had long received special treatment and may no longer merit. Someone said Disney has all these special perks, right? They do. Disney has a lot of special perks. That's why they're one of the most profitable companies in the world. I think the only people who really get close to Disney is Amazon. Someone said Disney had all these special perks. Should you retaliate against them for them coming out and demongering the bill. I don't believe you, retaliate, but I think what I would say is a matter of first principles. I don't support special privileges in law just because a company is powerful. And they've been able to wield a lot of power. And as you see here in the subtitles, it said advocates march at a rally at the Walt Disney Company in Orlando, Florida, spearheaded by advocates from AIDS Healthcare Foundation on March 3rd. I mean, this is all sorts of twisted. They're combining all of these agendas in one. I just saw a headline news stating that what's the agenda of the LGBT community when it comes to our kids? That is essentially what I read. And a lot of people are trying to get this word out of what we should actually do. Like, ask yourself this question. Your kids are in the kindergarten, maybe they're 4 or 5, all the way up to the 3rd grade, right? So they're anywhere between 4 and 8, maybe 9. Should the school teach them about LGBTQ and have them confused? Because a lot of times we don't like when the school teach our kids anything, right? For a very long time, we have been fighting against Christopher Columbus didn't discover America because people were already here, but they were still teaching our kids, even teaching us, that Christopher Columbus discovered America. And that Christopher Columbus was an explorer. But we understand that now Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, and that Christopher Columbus was a murderer. He brought different disease, and he pillaged and he killed, and he did all these heinous things to the indigenous people of North America, is essentially when he got here. And he wasn't even on his way to North America. He ended up in like India somewhere. That's where we are, family. So now there's some other news here. Of course, the conflict in Ukraine is still going on. And now they're talking about who's a better president, Zelensky or Biden. Zelensky has been dropping the MLK bomb, just like Bernie Sanders, just like Joe Biden. You know, Bernie Sanders got booed a while back when he was like, I march with Martin Luther King on the March of Washington. Everybody uses Martin Luther King name in order to include Black people into their fight. If you notice that, they always want Black people to get behind their movements. Because here's the thing, the black community, the Black American community, we're not standing up for all of these Ukrainians coming to America. And it's not just because what we believe or what we think, or supposedly a lot of these people are part of the neo-Nazi community. It's because every time we ask what's owed from us from slavery, chattel slavery, and the work that our forefathers and ancestors have done, and we talk about reparations and cash payments, the money can't be found. Like, they looking up under stuff, like, where's this money at? Oh, we don't have the money. We don't have the money. We don't have the money. You kick the Haitians back. You gather up enough resources and money to ship out the Haitians. It was around 18,000 Haitians on right there in a bordering country from Mexico and Texas. They were actually in Texas, and we got 18,000 Haitians out of here in a matter of like 2 weeks. But you got the money for that. When you brought over 100,000 Afghanis, you found the money to support them still to this day. You found $31 billion on top of the $2 billion that you give to the Native American community in the 500 recognized tribe. You find the money for that. Now you're about to find the money. Okay, now you're about to find the money to give to the Ukrainians who come over here. See, a lot of times, what I think what people know about Black people is that we are generally caring people. Like, we're not these evil, and it's weird. We fall for these tricks of the dominant society and white supremacy and racism. We fall for it because on one hand, they demonize us. They tell us how prone to violence we are, how prone to sexual activity we are, how our kids are bad, and then our kids are being trialed as adults. But then on the other hand, they want to support all of their damn movements. And we fall for it as a people. Not me, but we fall for it as a people every single damn time. We need to stop getting behind all these damn movements and get behind one movement and be on code and on an agenda of Black empowerment. And that means, here's the thing, a lot of us, unfortunately, there's enough of us, oh, I don't believe I want something for the white man, a reparation. Mofo, it's about what they owe to the Black community, the foundational Black American community. Those people who are direct descendants of American slavery. Not foreigners, not migrants, not immigrants. I don't care where we're from, what melanated country you're from. Those are not your reparations. You need to go to the UK, Britain, and all these other European countries. But for those people where your lineage and your history starts right here in America, that's where the money goes to. But all the money goes to all other the people. They go to all these other people. Okay, they're going to the Native Americans. They getting their bag. I'm not mad at them. They brought the Afghanis over here. They're getting their bag. I'm mad at that. Because it's amazing how you show love and support and generosity to people who are not even citizens of your country, but you give them forms of reparation and support. Now you're about to bring Ukrainians over here and you're about to give them financial support. And damn and behold that you was hard pressed to give the American citizens stimulus checks. They were hard to write these bills. It was hard to go through legislation to write these bills in order to give people support during a very trying time across the country, across the world. See, what I realized, a lot of us tune in to liberal news. A lot of us are on ABC and NBC and MSNBC and CNN. And I'm reading how if you go to CNN, whatever the Democratic Party supports, so does CNN. You go to Fox, whatever Republicans support, so does Fox. You're not getting neutral news. What you're getting is propaganda. You're getting rhetoric. You're getting bias. You're not getting the news, family. And the more that you sit there and you watch CNN, the more that you sit there and you read MSNBC, the more that you sit there and look at the New York Post, the more that you're being coerced, manipulated, and tricked. And what happens, the more you read about one particular thing from one particular source, you start to believe it. You start to believe it. You start, oh, what about black on black crime? What? See, and I think D.L. Hughley said this. It's not about black on black crime because they have white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, Hispanic on Hispanic crime. It's about proximity. Whoever you live around are essentially the person you get into confrontation and conflict. Just like the Ukrainian and Russia, they live right beside each other. So they're into a fight. And America, like the mediators, the bullies, the world police that we are, we're sticking our nose in something. Who is paying for the decision of our government? Who is paying for the decision of us backing Ukraine, who is not even part of NATO? Who's paying for it? Don't worry, I'll wait, but I'll tell you in the meantime, it's the American people. Yeah. How you're paying? You're paying with inflation. How you paying? You're paying with rising grocery costs. How you paying? You're paying with higher fuel prices. That's how you're paying. Because we didn't know that we were getting meat from Russia. We was getting wheat from Russia. We was getting oil from Russia. Oh, yeah. And there's no secret. Even the Peace Corps came out and said that Ukrainians, not that they are inherently racist, but they are prone to call black people, no matter where you're from, Great Britain, United States of America, Africa, the Caribbean, they're prone to calling you a monkey. They're prone to calling you an N-word. Then these are good people? And again, I'm not demonizing all Ukrainian people. There's good and bad in every bunch. The question is some of these people being vetted? I doubt it. A lot of people are talking about the Azov battalion. That this battalion, that everyone who joins up goes through a vetting system of them being racist. What's happening? What's going on in the world right now, family? We're all over the place. There's so many things going on. Did y'all read about this guy right here? They say he kidnapped 26 children from a school bus and buried them alive. From one survivor, the memories are a never-ending nightmare. See, here's the thing. Have you noticed that stories like this don't get wide coverage? Have you guys noted that? That this guy took an entire freaking school bus and buried kids alive. But you know what? Guess what they got all the focus on? They got the focus on R. Kelly. They got the focus on Jussie Smollett. They got the focus on Will Smith and Chris Rock. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that? But you haven't heard nothing about this old white guy burying kids alive. You haven't heard nothing about that, right? See, you got to go to their web pages to find this information out. But whatever is geared towards us, to demonize us, to make us look bad, that's what they put on the news and run it in repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again. And this is how they dupe you. This is how they trick you to believe that our people are inherently bad, which we are not. See, what I like to do is I like to teach my sons. I like to teach them, hey, these are the people we come from. We come from inventors. We come from engineers. We come from doctors. We come from all of these great people. See, a lot of times you have to look into the past. You have to look into the history to show people their future. But they got you going against your own people. They got you going against your own people. See, you really hear anything about Epstein anymore? No, it's R. Kelly, right? Right? They like to demonize Nigerians and say, oh, all of them are scammers. But who was the biggest scammers of them all? Bernie Madoff. You see, they paint crime, they racialize crime, and they paint it black. I talked about Emmett McHenry, the one who created the internet. Black man, a foundational Black American, created the internet. You talk about Mark Dean, someone when he was working at IBM, he created the gigahertz chip, and he also created the computer color monitor. Guess who they use that technology, the computer color monitor at? Guess who they use the gigahertz chips technology at? In mobile devices. But you don't hear about people who don't you think that this should have been all across the news that this guy took 26 children and buried them alive? No, I bet you if he was black. See, they got us going back and forth. Well, was Will Smith right? Was Will Smith right? Because, you know, his family been taking a lot. People behind Will Smith, people behind Chris Rock. Guess what? Shit happens, family. Shit happens. These things occur, whether it be black, white, Hispanic, Asian, who cares? And they happen. Oh, it made the black community look bad. No, it didn't. Does this guy make the white community look bad? If you say, yeah, this makes all white people look bad, then I agree. Those two slapping and whatever they were doing, that makes us look bad then. But no one got killed. No one got buried alive. See, this is why you sometimes have to go through different news stories to really find out. It amazes me that they will report the news on the website, but whatever people really want to hear about is what they show over and over again. But I would think that people will want to hear about a guy who buried kids alive. I'm just using it as an example. I'm just using it as an example, fam. Let's move along, though. Where's my cursor at? There we go. Right here, officials seize over 700,000 of cocaine at U.S. border. So they're still trafficking drugs across the Mexican border. Let's see here. 9 alleged Chicago gang members added to indictment against soldiers against gun trafficking case. New York mob hitman Dominique Toretto, said to be released next year, escapes federal custody. MS-13 gang leader known as Reaper is sentenced. Okay, we know that MS-13, I believe, is a Salvadoran gang. Okay, out of that particular country. But there's so many things going on in the world, and if you really don't read about it, You really won't find out anything about it. Good evening, Jermaine Anderson. Nice to see you, sir. Let's move on. We're just looking at a couple of news stories here. Of course, not everything makes headline news. And here's the thing: how they demonize Putin. See, me, I don't know enough. I don't know enough about Russia, the Russian people, the Russian government to actually say if Vladimir Putin is doing this to be evil. He's doing this out of what he believes that there is a lot of neo-Nazism going in Ukraine. I don't know if he's doing this to stop Ukraine to joining NATO because then NATO countries will be bored in his country. I don't know. I don't know why he's doing this. Let's go back down here. They heard me talking about it. They want to refresh my page. See, I don't know enough about this, man. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They will have you to get behind Ukraine. You see what I'm saying? Oh, support for Ukraine. We got Americans out there with the Ukraine flags. We got them on office buildings. We don't really know. The American people as a whole really doesn't know what the hell is going on. We really don't know why Russia is attacking Ukraine. But some of us who literally signed up to some of these news agencies and some of these political parties are supporting Ukraine. I'm not supporting no damn body except the Black community and Black empowerment because I don't know what's going on over there in Europe. I don't know what's going on in Europe to support either party. Does that make me inherently evil? Good evening, Wendell. Nice to see you, brother. I don't know what's going on, family. I don't know what's going on to support any of these parties. It says here that Trump can't seem to give up his Putin fixation. Oh my gosh. The silent threat in your burger wrap. There's so much going on. Here's some other news stories. Alaska Airlines canceled dozens of flights as pilots picket. Now the pilots are picketing. So people can't fly Alaska Airlines. Did y'all hear about this one? Let me blow this one up for you guys. A 12-year-old boy was shot dead while eating in a car in New York. Police say it appears he was hit mistakenly in a shootout. Wow. Stories like this don't get the notoriety. They don't get the main stage. They're not the top news story. But we're talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock. He slapped him because his wife was in an entanglement and he couldn't take it no more because people got his wife naming him out. Okay, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, what you gonna do? I'm clowning at this point, right? Because I don't want to be smacked. But if I do get smacked, I want to get paid like Chris Rock because now all of his ticket sales are being sold out because he handled it like a man. See, you're going to get the people who you subscribe to, your YouTube influencers, your YouTube creators, to give their conjecture about it. And everybody's going to be all over the board because they're going to be basing their opinion off of how they were raised, how they look at things. Some people are going to say, I'm going to do a deep dive, a deep analysis, and blah, blah, blah. It really don't matter. Somebody got slapped. Somebody didn't slap back. Someone's getting paid. At the end of the day, this is rich people doing rich people shit. I don't even look, see, they want us to paint this thing black and white. Oh, this make the Black community look bad. You got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you got Shannon Sharp. Everybody's kind of giving their own apparel of it and make no. It does not make Black people look bad. Because I didn't show you all these stories of all these white people doing these very heinous things. If a slap makes us look bad, oh well, shit. It makes all white people look like they're murderers and killers, which I know that's not true. You see what I'm saying? To me, I think the reason why people are getting behind Will Smith is because of his status. See, Will Smith has a higher status than Chris Rock. Because if you switch the statuses, then who would you be behind? But that's going to take some real deep thinking, right? Let's look into some of these other things. Beyonce gave us an open only, okay, blah, blah, blah. Arizona, Idaho among states that saw action on abortions this week. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy total compensation package topped $212 million. Also with Amazon, did you guys know, I forgot what state it was, that I think it was New York. I forgot what state it was, but they're trying to form a union. The last time that a state, and it was Washington State, that tried to threaten Amazon with the union, Amazon says, we're going to pull out of Washington State. And then Washington State said, okay, we're not going to form a union because we're talking about thousands of jobs will be lost. I'm just keeping it real. We're going right along. I'm not going to be here before you long, guys. I'm just trying to give you some commentary here very quickly. What else we have? Science and health. I don't really see anything. Experts see danger in Will Smith act of love. Oh yeah, nothing about Will Smith. Did you know that he resigned from the Academy, meaning that basically he won't get any awards? Okay, that's symbolism at its best. Who really cares? They're just awards, dude. Like, who cares? Like, when I got out the military, I didn't even wait around for my retirement award. What I'm gonna do with that? Show my kids? Oh, well, I got a Bronze Star. They're like, oh, what'd you get that for? I stayed in the military 20 years. Oh, okay. Good job. Nah. Awards are not tangible, but some people will give you some really good commentary about what rewards do, because we know that reward and awards actually reinforce positive action in people. But not when I'm retiring. I'm done. I don't care. I'm out of here. Okay. Look at this right here. A lot of things are happening in New York. It says here, wrong one. 14 arrests and death of Good Samaritan struck by train. I guess somebody pushed somebody over. I don't know. Native American tribe displaced centuries ago gets land back. If you notice, Native American always get their land back, but the land that was taken from Black Americans during the Homestead Act and all these other times, they didn't get their land back. We're still fighting for our ancestors' land. We're still fighting for the reparations owed. We're still fighting. But you notice that the news shift. The only time they really talk about Black people in a good light, the only time they talk about Black people and they address us in a positive light is when, ding, 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 is when you vote. That's when they do it. When you vote, that's when they start to address Black people. They kind of hint around what they potentially may do for us during voting season. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to keep you guys informed. See you guys on the next one. You guys have a great, wonderful weekend. I'm out.